Welcome, shadow seekers, to American Shadows, Crimes and Chronicles. Today, we're unearthing a tale that'll haunt your thoughts long after it ends. Whether you're glued to the screen or just listening in, you're in for a wild ride through history's darkest corners. If you're new, hit subscribe to join our mission of exposing America's hidden truths. Regulars, your likes fuel our journey into the unknown. Now, let's peel back the layers of time and reveal the secrets beneath. Ready? Let's begin. 77 minutes of terror inside the San Ysidro McDonald's massacre. Gather round, folks, as we take you back to one of the darkest days in American history. It's July 18th, 1984, a date forever etched in the collective memory of the nation. We're diving into the horrific events that unfolded in San Ysidro, California, the day of the McDonald's massacre. Picture a sun-drenched Wednesday afternoon in this quiet suburb of San Diego, just a stone's throw from the Mexican border. The local McDonald's on San Ysidro Boulevard was buzzing with its usual midweek crowd. Families with children enjoying summer break, workers on their lunch breaks, elderly couples seeking respite from the heat, all brought together by the promise of fast food and air conditioning. It's a scene of everyday Americana, the kind of place where you would least expect a nightmare to begin. But lurking in the shadows was a man whose mind had become a cauldron of rage and despair. James Oliver Huberty, a 41-year-old former welder and security guard, was about to unleash a terror that would shock the nation. Plagued by mental illness and recent job losses, Huberty had reached a breaking point. His desperation and anger had simmered to a deadly boil. That morning, Huberty made a chilling declaration to his wife. "I'm going hunting. Hunting for humans." She didn't alert the authorities, later claiming she thought he was joking. With those ominous words, he armed himself with an arsenal: a 9mm Browning HP semi-automatic pistol, a 9mm Uzi carbine, and a 12-gauge Winchester 1200 pump-action shotgun. His pockets bulged with hundreds of rounds of ammunition. At 3:59 p.m., Huberty strode through the restaurant's doors. "Everybody on the ground!" he shouted. And then, without warning or mercy, he opened fire. The next 77 minutes would become one of the deadliest shooting rampages in U.S. history up to that point. Huberty moved methodically through the restaurant, shooting indiscriminately at men, women, and children. The air filled with the acrid smell of gunpowder, the deafening crack of gunfire, and the terrified screams of the victims. Outside, chaos erupted as the first reports reached law enforcement. The San Diego Police Department's SWAT team was dispatched, but confusion and communication issues plagued their response. As they struggled to assess the situation, Huberty continued his relentless assault inside. The stories of the victims are heart-wrenching. Among them was 8-month-old Carlos Reyes, shielded by his mother who also perished in the attack. There was Blythe Reagan Herrera, just 11 years old, enjoying lunch with her 11-year-old friend. Omar Hernandez, another 11-year-old boy who had just cycled to the restaurant to buy his family lunch, never made it home. The youngest victim was that 8-month-old baby. The oldest, a 74-year-old man. Survivors later recounted hiding under tables, behind counters, anywhere they could find cover from the hail of bullets. Some played dead among the bodies of the fallen, praying Huberty wouldn't notice them. As the siege stretched on, the question on everyone's mind was, why? The day before the massacre, Huberty had called a mental health clinic, seeking an appointment. But the receptionist misspelled his name, and the return call never reached him. This revelation would later fuel a bitter debate about the failures of the mental health system. Finally, at 5:17 p.m., the nightmare came to an end. Chuck Foster, a police sniper positioned on the roof of a nearby post office, took careful aim and fired a single shot. Huberty fell, killed instantly by the bullet that struck him in the chest. The aftermath was devastating. In total, 21 people were dead, including Huberty, and 19 others were injured. The San Ysidro community, predominantly Hispanic and close-knit, was left reeling from the tragedy. In the days and weeks that followed, questions abounded. How could this have happened? Could it have been prevented? The incident sparked intense debates about gun control, mental health care, and the readiness of law enforcement to respond to such crises. McDonald's Corporation, sensitive to the community's trauma, decided to demolish the restaurant. The site was donated to the city and later became a memorial park, a place of remembrance for the lives lost that terrible day. The San Ysidro Massacre left an indelible mark on American society. It was, at the time, the deadliest single-day mass shooting in U.S. history. The tragedy spurred changes in law enforcement tactics for dealing with active shooter situations and renewed calls for stricter gun control measures. But perhaps the most lasting impact was on the survivors and the families of the victims. Their lives were forever altered by those 77 minutes of terror. Many struggled with survivors' guilt, PTSD, and the overwhelming grief of losing loved ones in such a senseless act of violence. As we reflect on this dark chapter of American history, we're confronted with uncomfortable questions about the nature of evil, the price of freedom, and the responsibility of society to protect its most vulnerable. The San Ysidro McDonald's massacre serves as a grim reminder of the random nature of violence and the profound impact it can have on a community. This is American Shadows, where we delve into the darkest corners of our nation's past. The story of the San Ysidro Massacre is a stark testament to the fragility of peace and the enduring resilience of the human spirit. As we close this chapter, we're left to ponder. In the face of such senseless violence, how do we as a society move forward? And what lessons can we draw from this tragedy to prevent such horrors in the future? Until next time, stay vigilant, stay compassionate, and remember, the shadows of our past continue to shape our present and our future.